Here's common carotid artery, and then here, running through the transverse foramen of the cervical vertebrae, the vertebral artery. And these are the two major sources of blood flowing into the skull to serve the brain. We'll start with common carotid. Right about here is the carotid sinus. That's where we find lots of chemoreceptors and baroreceptors. After the sinus, it splits into external carotid and internal carotid. First branch off of external is superior thyroid, followed by lingual, followed by facial. And then the branch that heads back, so this one here is occipital. And then coming up a little further, there's a branch that heads into the face there, that's maxillary. And then the continuation of external carotid as you move up is superficial temporal artery. And then you can see internal carotid. It's going to head up through the carotid canal that goes through the temporal bone. And then we can see where the internal carotid comes out here and here. Internal carotid comes up, has a few branches before it becomes middle cerebral, which is this portion here as well as here. So that first branch is ophthalmic. So there's two of those, and they go through the optic canals. And then the next branch would be anterior cerebral, which actually continues into the longitudinal fissure, spreads out and serves the whole front portion of the brain. And then this little connecting piece right here is anterior communicating artery. And then if we go backwards from the internal carotid and go posterior, there's this little branch here and there. Those are the posterior communicating arteries, and they are connecting the internal carotid arteries to the posterior cerebral arteries. So here's the left, and here's the right. And giving rise to these two posterior cerebral arteries is basilar. So that's the straight one right here. And then you can see basilars formed by the left and right vertebral arteries coming together. And they're passing through foramen magnum. And that covers it all.